What's up, YouTube? This is Kiona again. Welcome back to my channel, Praise with Angels. Hit like and subscribe because I will be doing more and more videos of curse breaking. Now I'm going to put a disclaimer on this video because this video today might be a tearjerker for some. So I'm just gonna put that caption in there before I start. This curse, generational curse, has been in my family. I wouldn't say that I broke it off, but I do want to mention it, okay? Because I still see it continuing. This curse we will call the curse of the firstborn. So a lot of women in my family have had their first children pass away during childbirth or pregnancy, or many different ways in different forms this has happened. Not by their will, but just happens. So I'm going to share my story of my firstborn. Okay. So, in 1999, I was pregnant at 17 years old with my first son. I made it to 24 weeks of pregnancy. But during that whole entire pregnancy, I was very, very sick. From start to finish, I was very, very sick. Actually, I gained a lot of weight too. I think I was started off at like 114 pounds. And by the time I was like four months pregnant, which 24 weeks is like 4 months. So I was probably like 160 pounds by then. Shouldn't have been, but I was, because I was retaining water and so many other things. There's a condition that women get at the end of pregnancy, which I did a lot of research on because I like to study and read things. So I found out that a lot of African American women and ethnic women tend to get this, but they get it at the very end of their pregnancy. It's called preeclampsia. And it's like the body fighting off this pregnancy, basically. But my body got it in the very beginning. It was a rare case. Not very many people does this ever happen to in the beginning of a pregnancy. But the whole outcome of it at the end is the mom usually ends up passing away along with the child, because it goes undetected and it raises your blood pressure to the point where you have a seizure and you die. Okay? So that is basically what was happening to me. During my pregnancy, I was very, very ill. And by the time we figured it out, I had went to church on a Sunday morning with my mom, and her friend worked at a hospital. And she took one look at me and she said, go home, pack a bag, take her to the hospital now. So we did that. When I got to this hospital in Boston, it's Tufts New England Medical, which is like a school hospital. So of course they're going to be on it. They're trying to study all, the best cases of the best cases. So that's how they're going to treat me. So yeah, I was an experiment. So, we get to the hospital. They immediately take my blood pressure. My blood pressure was something along the lines of should have been dead. They rushed me upstairs to the maternity floor. When we got there, they immediately blackened the room, made it dark, was really hushing and whispering, and it was just all types of stuff. Very uncomfortable for me. Okay? But I overheard the doctor talking to my mother and my baby's father, and they told them, okay, she's here on Sunday. She will not make it till next Sunday. That was my death sentence that they had gave me. She's not going to make it. If that baby stays in there any longer, she's done for, type thing, right? So, I wanted the baby to stay in there. I'm not gonna lie. It was my first child. A mother's love for her unborn baby. I was totally for it. Like, okay, then I'm gonna go out, but my son's gonna make it. But my mom signed the paper because I wasn't 18, and they started the procedure of a natural release of the baby, which is labor and delivery. They forced it. Now, during labor and delivery, they did not put any monitors on my body because they knew that the baby more than likely wasn't going to make it because he wasn't, full term. But they did give me shots for his lungs to try to force him to be, able to be viable outside the womb. But during labor and delivery is when I had my first encounter with the Lord. I didn't tell very many people of this story, but it was my first audible hearing of the Lord's voice, as well as feeling his peace that surpasses all understanding. This was my first moment with that. And that is why I'm sharing this generational curse, because it may have been a devastating point in my life, but it was also a magnifying point in my life as well. So the Lord came to me while I was in labor and delivery, and he told me, it is time. And I took that as me. I was like, but it's time? Like, you're gonna take me? And he was like, no, it is time. And he took my son. And I knew from that moment that my son was gone. So when we actually went into pushing mode, the nurse came in and she went to put the monitor in my stomach, and she was like, well, what's I told her no, like, shoot her away. And she was like, why? And I had told them, oh, because I felt him stop moving. But I never said, the Lord told me he just took my son. Like, nobody would have believed me. So, yeah. And then after he took my son, I felt the room. It was just unexplainable peace. I can't even say. Although I was severely depressed, wanted to bawl my eyes out like never ever before, I felt this peace that the Lord gave me in that moment. And I knew that my son was okay and that I would be okay, regardless of the situation that was at hand. So that is why I'm sharing the curse of the firstborn. Receive this message.